Hey guys, this is Brian from the Mavericks, mavericks.goldenandsons.com. This is podcast episode 24, and today I want to talk to you about the magic number. What is that magic number? A couple of days ago, my friends came over, and one of them wants to be an artist, one of them wants to be a movie reviewer. And they were trying to figure out how long would it take to one day become successful and self-sustaining on those career paths if they were to choose that. What would it take? So we did some math. Normally people say that when you do something for about 10,000 hours, you become a pro at it, right? So we tried to figure out for the artist, my artist buddy, that if he had worked, I think it was like 2 hours or 4 hours a day. I think it was 2 hours. If he did 2 hours a day, 7 days a week for 50 weeks or 52 weeks a year, it would take him 13 years before he got to the 10,000 hours and became a pro, which means that if he had a full-time job, as long as he came home and worked on his craft for 2 hours a day, solid, perfect practice, then by 13 years, he'd be a pro. And that blew our minds, how long it takes to become a pro. And so we cut it down a bit. What if he quit his job and did 10 hours of work a day, solid, perfect practice, every day, 52 weeks a year? It would take 3 years. If he could sacrifice everything, it would take him 3 years to become a pro. And so we wonder how certain people can become prodigies at their craft. And maybe what it is that they were able to focus on that one thing more than anybody else in the world and were able to achieve it. I think it was Michelangelo who said, if you had worked on my craft as long as I did, it would not seem so astonishing of what I have accomplished. And even Einstein said, if you just thought about the stuff I thought about as long as I did, you would come upon the same discoveries that I came across. And so the person who can focus in on the craft that they are working on can shorten the time it takes to become a pro at the craft that they're trying to pursue. And then for my other buddy who wants to be the movie reviewer, we were wondering how many videos would he have to put out before people would start to pay attention to him. And I remember Alex Hormozi had said it had taken something about like 400 podcast episodes before he took off. That he had recorded podcasts 3 times a week, every week, for 4 years, before on the 4th year, he made the breakthrough and became successful, right? So there seems to be this magic number. For artists, about 10,000 hours. To become sellable as an artist, it might be 5,000, it might be 1,000 hours. But there comes a point, there has to be this like threshold you have to pass before you can start living off the income of the craft that you're working on. And that will take a certain number of hours. That's the magic number for artists. Then for my buddy who was the movie reviewer, there was a certain magic number for videos he'd have to put out before he found the breakthrough, before he found the formula, before he found the voice he needed to become successful at his craft. All right. So we did some digging into this, right? So we had Alex Hormozi. But then I was thinking, Chris Fix, very popular YouTuber who talks about how to repair cars. His videos are staple videos that people go back to over and over again in order to take care of their cars. How many videos did it take for him to reach 9 million subscribers? 384 videos. So for a mechanic who puts out quality videos that act as reference material for people who are motorheads, it would take 300 plus videos to get to 9 million subscribers. So there's a data point. For Doug DeMiro, who's one of the biggest auto reviewers on YouTube, I think he has something like 1,000. He has 1,000 videos. And he has about, I think it's 3 or 4 million subscribers. So it takes about 1,000 videos, 1,000 car reviews to get to the point where you might have 3 or 4 million subscribers. So there was another data point. And then this is what blew my mind. There's a guy who just gives his rating on pizza slices. He's not a pizza maker. He owns a bar. So I don't know if he has an extensive background on the history of pizza or anything to do with pizza. Other than he's just very consistent when it comes to leaving reviews on pizza. It took him 1,700 videos to reach 900,000 subscribers. Now this podcast channel has 9 subscribers. All right, so it's hilarious. I mean, at least you'll know from podcast episode 24 where I'm starting from. All right, one day when I reach 1 million subscribers, you'll know that one day I started off with 9 subscribers. But for that guy who was doing the pizza reviews, for him to get to 900,000 subscribers, it took 1,700 videos. That's the magic number for him, right? And so what we came upon was that with every person that was working any specific craft, there was a threshold, there was a number that they would have to reach before they could start monetizing their craft. So let me repeat that again. Whoever you are, whatever your background, based on your talents, experiences, and skills, your Texas, and based on what you go into, and based on the media that you are using, it is going to take a certain magic number that you have to surpass before which you can actually monetize from that craft and actually have a full self-sustaining income from that craft. What is that magic number? The average says about 10,000 hours. The average says it could be 400 videos, anywhere between 400 and 1,000 videos. The average says about 5 to 10 years of putting out content. But there is some magic number that is particular to you and whatever you're working on. MrBeast, who's worth something like $1 billion, was putting out videos since 2012. It was 5 years later in 2017 that he made his first breakthrough video. Then after that, his videos now rack up like 200 million views in just a matter of weeks. And he's worth $500 million. But it took 5 years of him putting out videos for him to find the breakthrough. And in fact, he didn't just put out videos. He was part of a viral video mastermind that he and his buddies were part of, studying what were the elements necessary to become successful in making viral videos. So it was 5 years of deliberate practice before he became the master of like the YouTube viral video set, right? So there's a magic number. That's my whole point. My whole point is that for you and whatever craft you're working on, whatever your background is, there's a magic number you have to get to. Now here's the key thing about the magic number. That magic number resets every time you start all over again. That magic number resets every time you quit. So whatever you're working on, you will start it. You will go. And you might be one day, you might be 1 month, you might be 10 years away from that threshold, that magic number. But every time you start again, you have to start at 0 and then work again towards that magic number. And that magic number, that countdown towards the magic number doesn't start the day you start your business. Like for me, I don't know how long it's going to take before I become even just a millionaire. I don't know how long it's going to take. But I do know I started the process 4 years ago or 5 years ago. And I do know I started the process 10 years ago, but restarted. 5 years ago and then restarted. 4 years ago and now I started. And so every time the clock counted back from 0, every single time I restarted, every single time I quit, right? So every time you work on something, you have to stick with it long enough to see the results through. And every time you quit, you have to start all over again. And it's not as if life cares. Like life doesn't care that you spent 3 years working on your business. Like for me, life doesn't care that I've worked 4 years on my business and still haven't had a penny to my name. It doesn't care. All life cares is, how long was I doing the right practice for? Because by this 4th year, now I know I'm doing things right. And if I do things right today, going forward, even though my magic number count started at 0, 4 years into entrepreneurship. So what I mean is I started 4 years ago, but maybe the count doesn't start there because at that time I didn't know what I was doing. It was only when I knew what I was doing that the counter started. So that's 4 years later, that's this year. So now the number has started and I will one day reach towards my magic number. And then I'll find the breakthrough and boom, I'll become what other people call successful. The key is though, that you are already a success the day you start that count, because inevitably you will reach the magic number. So if you're on the path to the success, you're already a success. Problem is, most people quit right before the breakthrough and they start all over again. And so what you have to do is you have to persist, right? You have to persist in getting to that magic number. And one more point I want to leave you to. Muhammad Ali, he said he never started counting his reps until it hurt. So say he's doing sit-ups and it takes 20 sit-ups before he starts to feel the pain. It was only on the 20th sit-up that he would start counting out his reps. He would only count whatever hurt. He would only count whatever was the push past the barrier. Likewise for you. Whatever you work on, it is whatever you do perfectly, pushing past the comfort zone, that counts as the day that gets you to that magic number. One day you will get to your magic number, but you have to persist. So I hope you find this video helpful. Give it a thumbs up if it has. And again, you can join us. mavericks.goldwynandsons.com. This is Ryan. Take care. I'll see you there.